Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Local Service Podcast, episode 14. I'm starting to lose track. And today I have a friend here from Cadavid Properties who is a realtor, I'm sure amongst a lot of other things. And again, this podcast is all about helping local services find new customers. And if there's one thing I know about Drea is that she does something in real estate. So I've been looking from afar. I've been seeing her videos. I've been seeing a lot of video, which is something that I like about what she does is that she's really grabbed on to video. She talks a lot. She's in front of the camera. So those are some things I want to go over. Why did you do it? How did you do it? And then also just talking about like your journey in the real estate. So if you could just introduce yourself and let people know what you do.
Hey guys, my name's Drea, Cadavid Properties. It's family-owned real estate business here in Houston. I've been in real estate coming up on 9 years, and I got into it because my dad's been in it since 2003.
That's actually super cool because what we can do with this too is like we can take a legacy approach where what your dad was doing to get his clients and how he runs the business, and then with your addition, because I'm assuming your dad isn't running the Instagram account.
Definitely not.
Cool. So that's kind of what I want to jump into from the get is I know you from as realtor in the Loop. I know you primarily work in the Loop, in the Heights, I think.
That's the goal. I do take on clients that are outside of the Loop. So I have a listing right now in Bridgeland. So that's Cypress. Super huge goal, 10-year would be to niche down to the Loop and then have a lot of referral partners outside of the Loop.
Very cool. So talk to me about the Instagram. How did you strategize as to reaching people? What got you even to start rebranding yourself? Because were you always realtor in the group or you turned into?
I turned into realtor in the Loop. I think I've been with that handle now for about 5 years.
Okay. What were you before?
I think it was just my name, like Drea Cadavid.
And so what made you change? You basically became the business. Your personal self became the business.
Yeah.
So do you have a personal account?
No, that's it.
Yeah. So walk me through that. Why did you do that? Have you noticed a difference from it? Is it beneficial? Would you encourage people to change their account, from a personal to a business one? Pros and cons?
Okay, so for me I do have a business one and it's just the company one, but I rarely get on it.
Okay.
So I think that you should have an account that you're going to consistently use. So if it is the business one or your personal one, choose one and be proactive at it and consistent. So if your name, let's say if this is real estate related, if you're an agent and you want to use your first and last name, go for it. If you want to be creative and use something like selling in the Loop, I have a friend who is a sneakerhead and his is selling in sneakers and he's a realtor. So I think that you could put your twist on it. And it could be your first and last name if you wanted to, but just be consistent about using it.
I like that. So what you're saying is it doesn't matter whether you go business name or personal brand name, as long as you put the effort into one of those. Mm-hmm. Do you see in the real estate field that it can be either or? Like, is there accounts that get followed when they're just the business and accounts? I definitely see the personal brand ones more than I see the business ones, but do you see that as well?
No, I think that in the community or circle of realtors that I see, I think as long as you're putting powerful content or consistent content out there, no matter if you have a fun handle or your name handle, you're going to get a lot of views and a lot of traction.
Cool. And when you changed your Drea account to Realtor in the Loop, how did it feel? Because I know a lot of people will struggle with like
letting it go, letting your name go.
There's that. Then there's like you change in a way your identity, at least how people view you. So like, you're basically saying in the world like I am fully committed to being a realtor.
Yeah.
So like, what was your like? Were you scared to do it? Were you fully committed? Did you get feedback? Like, was it positive feedback, negative feedback? Did nobody care?
Nah, those are great questions. I was a little nervous to do it at first.
Why?
I don't know, because the name of like nobody's gonna think of Drea Cadavid, and they're gonna be like, who is this no face name handle? But after I did it, I got a lot of like recognition or compliments, like, oh, that's so clever, that's cool. And I think the best benefit I've gotten is that when you're networking, like if I'm at soccer events or if I join a whatever league or a book club, whatever you're into, when people are like, oh, let me follow you on Instagram, it's just like, oh, this is it. People are like, oh, you're a realtor.
Yeah,
you don't have to be like, I'm a realtor. Like, are you looking to buy or sell?
That's actually a super cool underlying strategy, because you're not ever telling them I'm a realtor. You're saying this is my Instagram account. It just so happens that it's all about
and then it makes that, I think that Instagram for me has become kind of like my resume. It's kind of like my track record, what I do, and it shows. I mean, you see my Instagram. So when I add people that I don't know, it just flows naturally into that.
Wow, that's a pretty smart move. Like, and it's not a salesy. Like, you're not going to the person if you're especially like like a soccer thing or just a party or something. Like,
generally want to hang out with those people and get to know them because you have liked interest. You know,
you want to walk because you're still walking in as a normal person. You're not like barging in saying, I'm a realtor. Follow me for. And you know what's cool? Like I mentioned, I've just seen your stuff. Like, I don't, you've never like approached me to buy a house or anything, but I know,
and
like,
I'm very encouraging. Like, when you see people doing good or succeeding, you're like rooting for them. Right. You're happy for them.
Yes. And I remember like my parents were trying to buy another home, and I was like, the only person I know that does that is Drea. So let me forward them the information. So like, then they came out of it, but like your strategy worked, at least for one person.
Yeah, you thought Drea.
Yeah, like that was top of mind. That was and what I like about I guess some people might like, for me, I like real estate because it's always a long-term play. Real estate agents like that on a business level, like you can't think short-term because it's not fast.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I think that agents that have come into the business the past 2 years where you almost didn't, if you got a listing, really didn't have to work. You're kind of listing and it would sell itself. So now the agents that recently got in are going to experience this market shift, and you're going to have to put a lot of effort into it. And I think that that's when you're going to have to, use your skills.
Yeah. I guess explain to me, because I don't really know, and to the viewers out there, is like, so you're saying like the last 2 years it's been pretty easy to buy and sell?
I don't think so much to buy, but to sell, yes.
Okay.
So if you're a seller's agent, I think if you were just getting in, that might have been a lot easier. And now you're going to have to start seeing a shift where houses don't sell in a day with 10, 20 offers.
Okay. So, and why do you think that is? Like, why is it going to shift?
I think that the government's trying to, bring down inflation. So they're increasing interest rates, which affects the buyer and their purchasing power. So an interest rate hike could mean $200-$300 a month that they can't afford anymore on a specific home. So that, and then it also creates uncertainty. So you got to keep educating people of what's happening and not going along with the media headlines, but really understanding the statistics, the facts, and how that affects you as an individual. So I think we have to do a lot of educating and listening to our clients to help them navigate the shifting market.
Yeah, that's great. I actually really enjoy all of that because, again, it's a long-term play. Like you, as you're saying, you're educating who knows for how long. You're consulting on things. You're giving your opinion, your ideas. And I think I saw your most recent IG post was just like, this is what we have in the Heights area, kind of just like promoting the area. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about...
Actually, before we move on to that, I wanted to tag along with what I said about new agents coming in. And yes, I think that the agents that have been in the industry for a while realize that real estate is a long-term service industry than a transactional. Like oh my God, I need this person to buy or sell right now, and I need to move on to the next person so I can make my commission and keep, whoever's next. Now you have to look at this person of like entry level home, move up home, investment. They might rent this out. So you want to be able to provide service. So like you said, 10, 20 years, you're still working with them.
Right.
It wasn't a one time because you needed them to sell, but really understand their needs, and maybe selling at that point wasn't the best for them.
Right. And that is exactly what I wanted to get into next was like, what is, I don't know if it's even possible, like what is the cycle, right? So like, I'm just going to guess here. Tell me if I get it, right? So like you are marketing various. I'm sure you don't just do Instagram,
right?
Like you
Google My Business, Google.
Oh my goodness! Talk to me. Give me a breath. I only know you through Instagram, but apparently you're on many more platforms. Talk to me about them before I like.
No. Okay, so Google. I'm putting a lot of effort into making sure my business profile is looking good. Trying to request as many reviews as possible.
So important.
Geotagging photos so you look like the neighborhood expert. Putting as much post content as you can. Google. You need to be thinking Google forward because I feel like that's the future.
And how did you get to that conclusion?
I honestly I have a real estate coach. So he's national. And maybe international, but...
Because I would agree with what you're saying.
Yes.
I would say a lot of people end up with the flashy thing, which is probably TikTok right now. I think that's like the
I'm not even on TikTok.
I think that's like what's hot right now. But like Instagram is what I see. But like there's all these other platforms that if you can manage, right? Like if you can like do the Google profile,
yeah.
They're all going to add up is how I think about it. Especially for like my clients is like, yes, we're focused on Google Ads and SEO, and yes, we're getting better results from Google Ads at the moment. But over time, SEO is going to give you, like, even if they give you, let's say, for auto detailing, if it only brings 4 new customers a month, well, why would you turn that off? Like, keep that going. Keep doing the ads. Keep doing the SEO. Like, as long as it's not negatively affecting you. And there's a point, like, if you spend, let's say, 4 hours a day on TikTok and it's not helping you out, at some point, like it's not worth the time.
Yeah.
But I definitely, that's great. And the fact that you are on YouTube.
You have to, and remember that you have to be patient. Mm-hmm. This isn't an overnight thing. Some of the real estate realtors that I follow from different states have been in YouTube 10, 15 years, and now they have traction. So it's always doing it, not thinking like, oh, it didn't work, or I only have 40 people, which I think I'm like around, 140. Uh-huh. So it feels like, oh, no, it's not working. Nobody's watching this. But as time goes, it's going to connect to SEO, to everything that you show up on Google. People are going to see your Instagram, your YouTube.
What is your main driver for new like inquiries?
So if it's like online leads that I don't...
In general. I mean, like for us, for Symphony Advertising, for us, a lot of it comes from just partner referrals.
I was going to say...
we built relationships and...
80% of my business comes from past client referrals.
Okay.
For sure. And agents need to focus on your database is one of the highest percentage where you get...
What do you mean by database?
Your CRM, your past clients.
It's like, okay, got you.
So whoever you have in your database, that's who you need to be contacting, checking in on, seeing how they're doing, and seeing if they know anybody that needs your services, that you can assist them. That's number one for sure. Database. I think Instagram, that's another 10%. I'm getting constant either for rentals or people out of state.
Right. And the way I see that working too, especially in your field and my field, because I've noticed that too. Like, why am I doing this? Like a local service
just
podcast.
For fun.
How I mean, it is fun. Like, I don't know if we would ever hang out if I wouldn't have this. Like the past interview, like I went to high school with him, and I literally haven't seen him since high school. It's been like 11 years, and so it's a cool reason to reconnect, hang out. So in that sense, it's great. But also what I found too, like when I put content out there, people don't even really watch it, but they know, okay, this guy just spent an hour talking about real estate marketing with a real estate expert, and it's like, okay, well, at least they get that part.
Yeah.
at least they see like, okay, and if they wanted to, they could listen to it and get stuff from it. But that's how I see, like, I am just putting more marketing out there, or more marketing assets, or more pieces of content that, you know, wherever they go, whoever they reach, if it helps them, great. If they just see it, great. If they don't like it, great. I'm just trying to put stuff out there. And so to back to your point, it's like, I see like all the people who are in your database that you're reaching out to, and they know about you. Well, they're probably going to check out your page every now and then. So they're going to know, okay, she's in this area. She sold these houses. She has these listings. She's doing these things. And yeah, so Instagram, 10%.
Yeah, I think it's around 10%. And then I just started online leads, which I'm definitely having a learning curve, because out of my entire career, I've never had paid leads.
Okay.
It's always been a warm lead. So if it's a referral, it's almost guaranteed that that person's going to work with you. But when it's an online lead, you don't know the face.
Yeah.
You don't know where they're coming from. So
how do those get to you?
I'm paying for a company called Boomtown, and they IDX my website. So they're coming leads and connected to Google too, through ads as well.
Okay, so somebody looks up homes for sale in Houston, they might get to you like that.
Yes.
And so this is new for you.
It's new for me. So I've been practicing, training a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine
We do
a cold lead is a lot harder.
It is a lot harder. Yeah. So I'm learning a lot of scripts. So I try to script practice 30 minutes a day.
Oh, wow.
On scripting. And now adding this one, how to talk to cold leads. So, you know, I guess you always have to be the type of realtor I'm at. I'm always doing something every day, even if it's not actually going out there to meet with clients. You gotta better your craft. Yes.
Because when they do come, right? Let's say an interested buyer does come, and they're ready to go through the process, and you're like,
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, and you gotta be aware. Goes back to being up to date with what's happening on the market, because there's a lot of media putting out there that there's going to be a crash or this or that, and everybody should freak out. And the world's going to end.
Do you have a lot of those kind of obstacles from like buyers or sellers?
Not specific like that, but yes. Oh, I'm just going to wait for the market to crash. And I'm like, well, it's not.
Most likely.
But, you know, you have to provide statistics to be like, hey, this is where experts are saying things are going to happen. Yet, yes, nobody has a crystal ball, but this is where most of the experts are expecting this.
Okay.
You know, so
little fact to the drama.
Yes. And then, you know, hearing people out, because whoever's afraid or whatever their fears are, you got to be able to listen to those and empathize and understand. Yeah,
it definitely sounds like you have to be do you consider yourself a salesperson?
No.
Okay. Because it's definitely selling.
I consider myself a professional.
Nice. Okay. Because I myself, I'm always like, one of my jobs is to be a salesperson. Like, I sell. Like, I mean, I don't like grimy. I
think everybody sells.
But I definitely, like, if I don't sell, I'm 100% commission. You know, I'm sure you're 100% commission. So like, there's a better way to say salesperson. But at the end of the day, like, we are doing.
But that's when you say salesperson, you think grimy, annoying, untrustworthy. But when you say professional, what do you think?
A professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You use the word professional to describe professional, but yes, trustworthy, expert.
Gotcha.
So maybe shifting the way you describe yourself too shifts the way you think about yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I like that. Okay, so how do we go about like your sales cycle? Do you have a different term for it? Professional cycle? So like somebody gets into your CRM, right? Like they see your marketing, it's a warm lead. What is your process to go, okay, Caesar just said he wants a house. What does the process usually look like? And the reason I ask that is because a lot of time with ads or SEO, people get the leads and they say it's not working, or they say that the leads aren't good enough, or there's some kind of excuse. And then when we listen to the call tracking, right? So we can listen to what people say when they call. It's like, oh, you guys were rude on the phone. Oh, you guys didn't call this person back. Oh, you guys gave out the wrong information. Oh, it says you're open 9 to 6 on Monday, but you guys weren't open 9 to 6 on Monday. So like, there's a lot of things that once you do get the lead, you know, there is a proper way of going through the journey, that customer journey, where it's like, you say, hello, talk about what they need.
Yeah.
So just curious to know what your
Okay.
cycle is.
So if it's a referral or warm lead or direct message on Instagram, I always say, thank you so much for reaching out to me. And then I kind of probe for some questions like, why are you looking to buy in this area? And then after we have like rapport, I go ahead and say my goal is to set an appointment.
Okay.
Not to sell them a house. My first goal is let's set an appointment and get face to face.
You like the face to face?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
when I mean face to face, I do mean Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So I'll explain in a short message when I first talk or connect with clients, we go ahead and set a buyer consultation.
Okay.
It's a completely free meeting and it can range between 30 to 40 minutes depending on how many questions you may have. We'll go over buyer programs, what lenders are using to qualify, and look at a live sample of what homes are active on the market.
That sounds
Most of the time
helpful.
people are like, yes, I want to do that. So I'll give them options to, I have this time to this time or this time to this time, send them the link. When the time comes, we're on the link, we see each other. I have a presentation that I've created where I give information about me, who I am, how buyer's commission gets paid.
Okay.
And then buyer representation, so hiring me as their agent and the value of that. And then go into a mini breakdown of what loan programs are available, what the banks are looking to qualify you, because I think it's very important that the agent understands the financing side of real estate, not just depending on their lender.
So the agent being the real estate.
Yeah, because we're the ones out there looking at homes with the client, and the client's going to be like, well, how much is this home a month? Or what is that in terms of down payment? And like, you want to be able to do the numbers on the spot. So, and I understand the basics between conventional and FHA, which are the main programs. So I'll go through that with them and explain how much we need to have saved up for down payment and closing costs and the difference between the two. After that, I go into like a chart of if we were to go under contract, everything that would happen in the next 30 days. So it's not like when we're looking at houses, I'm not just dropping this information. They already know what to expect if we're going to submit an offer, and then I'll refresh them. But it's kind of like, oh, I remember she said this, or the inspections are next after we go under contract. After the flow chart, then I pull up the MLS and it's live.
MLS.
The multiple listing services. So HAR.com.
Okay.
Where we can see live. I'll be like, you said you wanted a home that was 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1 story, or a home with a pool. You wanted a monthly budget of $2,500 in this area, and then I'll pull live. There's only 5 homes for sale in that area at that price point with a pool. Let's look at them, and then we'll start looking, and they can start telling me like, no, I don't like that. I like this. And we'll do an exercise. After that, I encourage them. The first step is to apply with the lender, which I do send them 3 to 4 lenders locally that I have relationships with that I trust, because it's very important who you choose as a lender.
You don't want to send somebody that's going to not give them the proper service.
Service, reply, efficiency, and make it less stressful.
Did you have any bad situations? Like, have you
with
ever,
lenders?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you kind of had to filter them out.
Yeah, and lenders call you all the time to try to win your business. But 9 years and I filtered down to 2 to 3 that I go back and forth with, that I know I can be happy to say, hey, they're part of my team. Okay. They're going to step up. They're going to answer. If something goes wrong, they're going to show face. It's not like we are left wondering what happened. And especially when it comes down to like closing time, sometimes things happen and you got to be able to show face and explain what's happening, even though nobody wants to hear it, you know?
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a lot of legwork, like to build those relationships, to have that trust in those lenders.
A good title company, a good insurance referral, like all of these parts. A real estate transaction touches like 20 people.
Yeah, that's what I'm realizing
like
right now.
20 jobs. So it's important to have good relationships with people that you know are going to make sure are going to make the process less stressful for your client, because buying a home is stressful. It's scary. So when you have the right team of people, it kind of smooths it a little bit.
So, okay, so the lender, you give them the lender, the three lenders.
Yes, so my conversion rate before, when I would just try to have these conversations as I showed people homes, for them to apply with a lender was minimal. But after Zoom and the pandemic and just giving all this knowledge, information, value, I think 85% of people after the meeting would right away apply with the lender. My lender would text me like, so-and-so just applied. And I'm like, I just talked to them. So it's good because you know where they are. If we have the green light, or if, hey, we need to tweak a few things, prep you or bring your credit up or whatever, and we'll be ready in 3 months. So things like that.
So is the difference, because you said you noticed the difference with the pandemic, so I'm assuming the Zooming.
I love Zoom.
So is it putting like all the information in front of them? Is that what helps?
I think it's putting the information visually versus just saying it.
Because you do it on the Zoom.
Yeah, and then I take everything we talked about, the specific home we did the monthly payment for, like the breakdown of principal, interest, taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance. I put it all together in a link where it's organized where they can access every piece of it. Oh. Even the lenders, they can apply with them on there. It's like very easy to see, and you can go back. And the link tracks, so sometimes they'll tell me so-and-so opened the link 5 times. Okay. So-and-so spent 10 minutes on this specific part of like the section.
Right.
So it's telling me like it's working.
Yeah.
People do value looking at all the things, all the effort I put into it, actually.
And it's neatly packaged.
Yes.
Like I only need to refer to this one document and I can find everything here. And then you already gave them the information up front. So most questions are answered unless they come up with new ones.
Yes. And then if we did look at a specific home, it's tailored to them and their budget. Like whatever they wanted monthly in the area, I add that link of that house to that other link. So it shows everything organized. And yes, they can go back and look at it as many times as they want.
Very cool. So after you send them the lender and they apply or they don't apply, what happens then?
Okay, if they do apply, usually my lender will let me know, hey, we have the green light, they're good to go. Or, hey, we're not ready, credit score, or whatever needs to be paid down. Luckily, the lenders I work with are not just like, hey, you've been denied. They're like, hey, this is why. But if you do X, Y, Z in 2 to 3 months, we can get you where you need to be. So they'll tell you exactly what you need to work on. After that, I'll just say what days work best for you. Evenings, weekdays, weekends. Let's try to set up to go view homes. Hopefully we could do 5 to 7 in one day and go from there.
Talk to me about that part, because you just went from the virtual world, everything was virtual up to this point, and now you're going to go into the physical world. You know, do you feel like, is there an art to that? Are you just Drea yourself, or is there a process? Like you just show them the homes, like I'm sure you're obviously professional about it, but like, is that part pretty straightforward, or is there something you do that helps encourage buying, or is just, you know, like, what is your process?
I'm kind of like, the first times I'm always letting them there's people that have never seen a home, so I'm not like, hey, we should just look at 1,800 square feet homes and up. I'm pretty laid back because I want them to go through that research phase. Like, what is a big yard in your definition? Okay. What's a big home in your definition? Would you prefer a 1-story, 2-story? Things like that. So the first time I always take it as a learning curve.
Okay.
So we'll go in the area, the budget, like the main items. We'll all put a list together, and so reach out to each agent and do a route where it makes sense. So you're not like here, then there,
right.
then there.
Backtracking.
Yeah, I put it all together, and I'll tell them, let's meet Sunday starting at 2 p.m. at this house. And then we'll meet there, and then we'll just start. And I try to get feedback on each one, and I add my notes on my phone for each home.
Cool. And so, okay, you did that. Let's say it goes well. What happens then?
Then we decide to how do we're going to strategize in submitting an offer. Depending on the market, you can do different things. So we are in a shifting market where homes are decelerating at the rate they were appreciating. So they're not decreasing in price.
I don't know what that means, but great.
So homes are not depreciating in price. They're just slowing down the rate that they were appreciating. Like last year, everything was crazy. People were offering over. Now we're just seeing a more moderate price.
Okay.
Within that, people have listed homes higher, thinking that it was like at the beginning of this year, but they might be 5% off. We can negotiate getting the seller to cover the buyer's closing costs. Closing costs can range somewhere between 2 to 3% of the sales price.
So
a significant amount. Right. So if we could get that, or we can negotiate on bringing down the sales price. So I'll sit down with the buyer and say, in my opinion, my professional expertise, this is the route I think, but let me know what you want to do.
So you offer a solution, but you still
let them be in the driver's seat. Once we come up with the final decision, I'll explain. The offer is about 11 pages long, so I'll explain the general overview of what each page has, like what they're signing.
11 pages. I guess that doesn't sound like, it sounds like a lot, but to buy a home and everything that goes into it, I guess it's kind of condensed.
I think it used to be like 2 pages back in like the 50s and 60s.
Never mind. I guess it's been
yeah.
It's been lengthened. Okay, cool. And so then that's the process. That's one. I guess they're mostly.
That's just like, I guess, the beginning. Then when the offer gets accepted, a whole other process starts.
That's actually cool, because like one thing I've spoken about, not in this podcast, but it's like once you get the I call it post-sale stuff, because like especially for us, Symphony Advertising, when we close a client for a website or a marketing service, it's like, okay, we own their problems now. Now we have to solve their solutions. We have to do what they paid us for. It might be different for real estate, but like that just kicks off the next set of steps.
I mean, yes, you're right. Now it's time to make solutions, and that initial submitting the offer, that was your first negotiation. Mm-hmm. Now there's going to be 3 to 4 other spots where you're going to have to negotiate on your client's behalf. So you better understand inspections, you better understand appraisals, you better know how to step up for them, and also help them navigate all that. Help them understand what the lender's offering them.
So this is what part is that? What kicks off this?
Once the offer is accepted and the seller signs it.
So it doesn't mean they've purchased the home yet. It's just phase 2 of phase 1.
Nothing's official until you go to the closing table, you sign, and the lender funds the file, which means they paid the seller. And we don't get paid till then either. Right. So I don't know with your business if you get paid up front when
we're up front.
Yeah. So for me, it's like if the thing catches on fire, not the house, but I mean the deal catches on fire, it implodes, it blows up 2 days before closing, then all that work you put into it is gone.
So how does that mentally, personally, how do you take that? How do you view it? What's your perspective on that? Because I'm sure it could crush your soul, right? So much work.
At first, I cried a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my first year, second year of real estate, I cried definitely.
That's how you put up with the pain, which is natural. I
thought
guess.
I was just letting my client down, and sometimes people are just people, and it has nothing to do with you, even though you do your best. But anyways, nowadays, you take 5 minutes to cry about it if you want, and you let it go, and you keep going. You have to keep going.
Because what are you going to do, right?
Yeah, you can't put all that on your shoulders and think that you suck at life, because it wasn't you. So
circumstances, situations.
A lot of things can happen. But
then there's the flip of the other side of the token where it goes through.
Yeah, most of the time it does.
And that's hooray,
It's awesome to me to hear. I had one recently who is a friend I met through another friend playing soccer.
Story of my life.
Yeah, and I met up with him a year ago at Slowpokes, which is a coffee shop downtown or in Garden Oaks. And I gave him the buyer presentation. And then a year later, he's like, hey, I'm ready.
Oh, cool.
I know. So we were at the closing last week and we were in the kitchen doing the final walkthrough. And he says, I am so happy. I am so happy I've waited and I'm so happy for this house. And that's
awesome.
That's the moment for me where I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And just a specific question about that. Is it typical or normal for it to be like you do the presentation and then a year, 2 years?
No.
Okay. I was like, that sounds like a wow.
He was, but you know, there's times where I do talk to people and I mean, I don't know exactly what he was waiting for and that's fine, but I was always top of mind.
Right. Because he came back.
You know?
He came back.
And we're friends on social. I think that there was a few that I can think of is income tax based.
Okay.
Like either you have to wait if you're commission based and you just started commission based. I think it's 18 months of commission consistently.
To get approved for the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if people are 1099 and do their income taxes, they tend to be like, let's say somebody makes $200K a year, but then they put all these deductions and then they say, okay, I only make $30,000 a year. So you're like, okay, well, next year you're going to have to make sure you put at least this much for the house that you want to qualify for.
Right.
So I've waited for that and people contact me after. They're like, hey, about to do our taxes. This was the right number. And then they do it, reapply with the lender and we're good to go.
Wow.
So I think it does take a lot of patience.
Yeah. And I mean, like, for me, the way I see it is like you just want to be on the right side of things. Like, if the person wasn't ready, like, what are you going to do? Like, really? You're going to, like, ask, like, can you just, you're going to be the salesperson that you don't want to be.
Of course, we're going to try every possible to make sure that, like, hey, can you get a gift? Like let's say they don't have enough down payment or can you co-sign? Like, well, we're going to look at all the options possible and go over the pros and cons of each one. And sometimes I'll even say, just go ahead and wait. Like, don't co-sign with anybody. Just wait 6 more months or a year. It's going to be way better if you just wait.
Right.
So after looking at all the options, we'll come to a consensus.
Gotcha. And that would be the final part. Well, I think it's forever, right? The relationship with the customer, but that rounds it out.
Yeah,
that's the complete cycle, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Once you officially sign, the bank has funded. You can have the keys. You're good. You can go spend your money and buy a car, whatever you want to do afterwards.
So yeah, for me, what I'm hearing from you is that you have to be extremely well versed, knowledgeable, and empathetic to like be a good real estate. What real estate agent is that? The
professional.
Real estate professional. So I'm learning to be a good real estate professional, and on top of that, you have to market.
That's the hard part. I mean, it was all back to when I got out of college. I had zero experience in real estate. Working with my dad, who was the old school mindset of you got to call everybody you know. And I was like, I just graduated. Everybody's in debt. Nobody's looking to buy my age. I'm 23. So, and then he's like, and on top of that, you got to make us a website. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I was
he was waiting for you to graduate.
I'm like, what the heck?
He was like, as soon as she's done, I'm going to throw everything I know we should be doing.
It was a lot to take on.
I was going to segue into that. So like, tell me, how did you get into it? How was it working? Family business. It sounds like. Are you guys still working together?
Yes. Well, our structure, our business model is that we own the company. I'm a partner, but he has his deals and I have my deals. So we're not
competing.
No, or like butting heads, I guess.
Okay.
So at the beginning it was very difficult. I graduated, went straight into studying to get my license. I got my license and then I shadowed him pretty much for like 3 years, trying to learn as much as I could. He taught me a lot. I understood a lot of the financing part, being able to break down what a mortgage was for a consumer, or how to apply with the lender, or the basic items the bank's going to ask you for when you're applying.
So back to the patience part, though. That's 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just going to jump in. I mean, I guess it's possible, but
and
you got to be
like,
a rock star.
I don't know the exact statistic, but when in the first year, agents that stay on as agents, like the percentage of people leaving, I think it's 84%.
Like within the year?
Yeah. Like if you started in a year, like the people that stay on is not
high.
No.
Wow, that is a lot, because that means if there's 100 people and they all took the
84 of them are not going to stay as an agent. And this happens to me too when I'm negotiating for clients. I sound young and I look young. So I have agents that are like, yeah, like if it's the seller, like, oh, you submitted a clean offer. You sound like you know what you're talking about. They're like, how long have you been doing real estate? I'm like, it's gonna be 8 years or 7 years. They'll be like, oh, you made it past 5 years. You're gonna make it. Yeah. And I think of it like a small business when they're starting. Usually, like after they make it past their 5-year mark, it's like they've made it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely talk to that, because like the first, I guess I want to say like the first 2 years, I didn't feel like a fraud per se. It just, I still didn't feel comfortable being like, I run my own business. Yeah. I own my own business. I do my own thing. But like this third year for sure, I feel like, I mean, I'm doing a freaking podcast. Like, and then, you have more stuff. You have more
like
clients.
A team.
You have a team. You have an office. And you have, I think the biggest thing too for me is like the battle scars, like going through it, losing, winning.
And keep going.
Yeah. And having like you embody the work. Like if somebody came to me and say, hey, we want to do brow to match keywords for this campaign, I'll be like, no, it's a bad idea because XYZ. Yeah. Similar to why you would probably.
Experience and expertise can come up.
Yes. And so I completely understand, because and I've been doing it for like a long time, like 8 years, but then going by yourself is like, well, there's
your own company is different.
There's nothing like, there's no brand to your business yet. It's just you. And so over time, it's like, okay, Caesar and Symphony Advertising. It's not just, because at first it was always like Caesar's a freelancer, which I didn't want to be that.
No, I agree.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but you
I
gotta, and you start somewhere. Like you could start there, but like look at all that you've done now.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
but yeah, so I hear you on the
years of like you've been in the trenches, you've made it.
So that has to be very. It's unfortunate that you get that kind of remark where like you look young, you don't know what you're talking about, you sound young, but it's also cool that you still do it and you've been doing it, so you've overcome that still. And what do they want you to be, like sounding like a old lady or something?
I think like older man, like my dad, I feel like he just looks not knowledgeable and experienced, and older women in real estate I think are like motherly and warm, and then I'm just like, what's up?
That's funny. Which is cool. I'm sure there's a demographic that wants the what's up. I
actually love working with like the people I work with. A lot of my demographic is wide. I have Latin people, I have families, I have people that
you said wide.
Yeah,
it's wide. Okay.
I have families that is just like, they just have dogs.
Oh, okay.
So I have a wide range, but I feel like 50 to 70% is people my age that are like outdoorsy stuff, that have pets or young children, that like going out, that like going to restaurants. So when you're doing business with this type of person, you're having a lot of fun. Like they're making you laugh. You're having a good time. You're enjoying being with them.
Right.
And I think vice versa. Like they like you, which makes business even better.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will say that too. To your point, again, I guess we are kind of the same age. Yes, we are kind of the same age.
I'm gonna be 32.
I am 32. Okay. Going on 33. So we're practically the same age. But I have realized, because this is my third time trying to do a marketing agency. Like it's not not my first. I did it when I was like 22. I couldn't sell. I did it again when I was like. Why?
Because you were young or what?
I was scared and I didn't have the experience. And then I did it again at 26 with more experience, but I was still scared. I think I knew a bit more.
You kind of didn't trust yourself fully.
No. And then this time, I mean, I got fired and stuff. So that was the push.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
it was
the push.
like the universe saying, like, you gotta do this again on your own.
Thank goodness, because like I always wanted to. Like I always wanted to do it, but
I'm glad you did.
Thank you. But I will say what has helped a lot too, because being 22 and 26 trying to do it, like I always had to reach up, like way up, like someone who's 40, and that was like a big difference. Now we still do business with like any age, but like my group of friends or my peers also are in business, started their own business, work somewhere.
They're living like they know it. They know what you went through, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, man, we're in this together.
That, and also they know we do marketing.
Yeah.
And if they have a business or if they work somewhere, oh, use Caesar. And same for you. Like, oh, we're friends. I need a house. Why would they randomly go to somebody they don't know? So that has helped too. And so I can only extrapolate that it should get better with time. Just how, unless you mess up, right? Unless we mess up somehow.
Yeah, burn bridges. No, I think I agree with you. And 30 has been amazing. I've enjoyed being 30. Granted, it's only been coming up on 2 years, but I think that moving downtown, I bought a house downtown, and creating a team, like I said, my lender, my title rep, my insurance, they're all around my age.
Oh, really?
Yes. So my 2 lender partners, they're around my age. They're married with kids, but they're still like coming downtown, going to happy hours, networking. My title rep too, he's very knowledgeable, but he's fun and upbeat. And then my insurance rep too, he's amazing. He's an Edo. So I think it's fun when you can create this team of people that are like go-getters too. Yeah. Because like any industry, I've been to networking events where I was the younger one, or, you're like, the younger one. Maybe there's 1 or 2 in the room that are like around your age. Everybody else is older. But you just hear like sometimes this negativity and have like, oh, the market this, the market that. Like when it was a seller's market last year and I went to networking events, just the negativity of like, buyers can't get anything and the market sucks and this sucks. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I don't want to be around this. And then you meet with your partners, your team. They're like, what do you got going on? What do you need help with? Like, how can we, it's going to go through. Like, you're just in the same mindset. Yeah,
a can-do attitude.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's an age thing or what, that we're just like, we're going to keep persevering versus like, this sucks, this, that, the market shifting, this is shit, whatever.
Yeah, the way I look at it is that like yes, there are problems, but you can always offer an opportunity, but also offer a solution. Like if there is a problem, well, how can we solve it? Like it doesn't end at the problem. And if it does, then we're all screwed at that point. Like, oh, okay, well, what can we do?
Yeah.
And it's a losing mentality overall, I believe. Cool. So let me ask you some fun questions. Okay. So, we have about 10 minutes and, I want to do this. So, what was your first job like ever?
My first job was in high school, and I worked at Payway. It's like
the food?
Yes.
So like Asian food?
Yeah, it's like the restaurant chain.
What did you do there?
I was a register, or sometimes I would take out the food to people.
So not related to real estate.
Nope.
What
I was in high school.
I know. I'm joking. My first job was Subway. Which they called it a sandwich artist, which is actually not true. Yeah, I'm a sandwich artiste. I just follow the rules. The first time I got paid was by being a linesman ref, being like 14 for 8-year-olds. So I would have like, and they would give me, I think it was actually a lot. It was like $20 a game or something. So
that's not bad.
That's when the first time I ever got paid. But anyways, what did you do with your first check? If you remember.
I don't remember. Might have gone to Chick-fil-A.
So yeah, I remember. I actually don't remember exactly, but with my first check, I either went to Walmart to buy a Guitar Hero, or I went to another store to buy a piano. I just know it was one of those. And I know they were consecutively. Like first it was the piano and then Guitar Hero.
You're like, I'm rich now.
Or it's the guitar and then the piano. One of those.
Well, they're both music related. Yeah. I really don't remember what I did with mine.
Cool. Well, those are my 2 fun questions. Anything else you'd like to talk about or go over before we conclude?
Let's see. I will promote. I'm having a first-time home buyer seminar coming up at the end of this month. I'm meeting with my lender partner this Friday to get all the details. We're gonna set it up at a local restaurant or bar downtown. So we're gonna offer food and drinks, a raffle, and current statistics on what's happening in this market, as well as a quick overview of how to apply and hopefully make your dreams of owning a home come true.
Oh my God. Do you do events?
I'm starting to.
Look at that. See, so she's on it. This is awesome. So we'll definitely
want a new thing for this year.
That's awesome. So, okay. I want to get into events too, but thank you so much for coming.
We could collab.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Oh, and like you said, if you want to follow me, my handle is @RealtorInTheLoop. My name's Drea Cadavid, and thanks for having me.
Check her out. Buy a house from her. Sell a house.
Buy, sell, invest. I'm getting a lot of young investors that have their first home, don't want to sell it, leasing it out, and purchasing their move-up home. So becoming a mini investor. That's a goal too. I'm on my 3rd home, starting building and renting. So buy and hold.
And then Airbnb. I saw you post something about that.
I don't specifically dabble in Airbnb. Maybe we'll explore it, but I like long term, where I don't have to be consistently watching. Yeah. Yes, but anyways, I do have my own rental properties and looking to build and rent out. So if you have questions about maybe renting out your first property, I'm also able to assist in that.
So she can help basically in any form or fashion. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Caesar.
And peace.